Okay, we're back here. We're weekend warrioring it, sort of. We've got all this from last week that we did. Got my tools out, ready to work again. Trying to remove the EGR where we left off last time. Obviously, you can see this is all off. All our parts are over here. So we're working now to still get in there and get things out. I got a flashlight this time, better prepared in terms of lighting, and we're going to continue the e-work, so to speak, of getting in there and trying to remove the EGR. I got clamps this time. I'm going to put the clamps on. Hopefully with a hammer or something we'll be able to get that darn EGR from out the back. Okay, a few hours later we decided to take off the intake manifold because we weren't making any progress trying to get the EGR off. So here we are. You can see the mess that's in here. See if I can get you inside one of these. Whoa. There we go. That's a pretty cool shot, right? So we get some light in there without blinding it. Yeah, so we got quite some buildup in some of these. The EGR is pretty stuffed up. You can see that's the EGR hole. Gonna try to scrape some of that out. This gasket is made out of paper, if you can believe it. So cardboard or whatever, and you could see it was. I don't really see signs of leaking, from what I can tell, at least right now at night. It looks like it had good contact. Hey, so this is the second part of this, or third, depending on how many times I have to split this video up. Sorry, it's a little windy today. I finally decided to take the intake manifold off, and I have access to the EGR bolt here, but only if I pull this back like that, I get access to the oil trap, and you can see what kind of mess it is over here. This has been spewing backup stuff for a long time, and there's only one way I can get to this now. I don't think I could still take the EGR off. I'm going to attempt to, but my priority is to get this breather box off and to clean it. Hopefully you can see that. Sorry for the unsteady. Oh, it's a 10 millimeter, by the way. It's in here. Somebody, another video I watched, because I was wondering if I was doing anything wrong, said it was a 12 in place, like almost like it's a stripped screw. But I don't think it's stripped. Can't even see the screw at this point because it's so light outside. That's almost it. Oh, here we go. Ah, son of a gun. Finally got it out. It's got so much oil on it that the first one I removed actually got stuck in here because there's so much grime on the bolt. And I tried to clean it too, so that tells you that didn't help. Okay, so now got this wiring harness is sort of in the way, but let's see if we can capture this thing's. Oh no, something else is holding it in. Let's see. This EGR thing, we can kind of bend it out of the way. Maybe that's what's holding it in, actually. No, it seems like, I don't know, look at all that grime down there. Maybe there's another bolt on that side, but I don't think so. There's only supposed to be 2 bolts holding it in. Now, it could be just the years of heating up and cooling down. I've got this thing so royally stuck on here, but I'm gonna have to check if there's another bolt on this side, because something seems to be keeping it from coming out. So either this cursed EGR, which I come to hate with a passion, EGR valve, just because of where it's buried, and this thing refuse to come off. Also, if you're seeing oil here, that's because I sprayed it, so none of this will rust, because this has been sitting for weeks. I didn't have a chance to get to this. So, yeah. I guess you get a rare opportunity to see inside those what the valve covers are. So why don't we grab a flashlight and illuminate that area. Okay, with a little bit of God bless liquid wrench and some 22 millimeter and a 22 millimeter wrench, we were able to loosen this thing up. You can see there's some buildup in the EGR. That's all right. But now we are going to see if we can finally get this thing out. Oh no, it's come up, but the hose, heater hose, is blocking it. So with some hose spill, with some a little coolant spilled, we've managed to loosen this free. Hopefully not too much will go in. And here it is, the thing we've been fighting for 3 days to get out. Darn it, holy moly. That was a crazy amount of work, guys. Just for this. It is just covered in oil. And oh man, and then we'll inspect it to make sure it doesn't have any holes anywhere, because if it does, that could be another reason for off-gassing. But most likely, what happened was some of these hoses were either not tightly secured, or because there was so much crud. Look at this. Like, there's like a lot of stuff. Okay, so honestly, I doubted I'd ever get here, but here I am. Oil breather. Now, there wasn't really anything to see, other than, well, see, I'm twisting this because I haven't secured this yet, which lets me twist this. So I'm gonna probably get that thing last, because I loosened it because I put so much liquid wrench in there. I'm telling you guys, the liquid wrench is gold. WD-40 doesn't even come close. Use liquid wrench. I'm not sponsored by them, but I'll take it if they sponsor me. I love this stuff. Look at this. Before, I could not twist it on this thing. Now, I could twist this, get it out of the way, whatever I want. I put a little anti-seize into that EGR, because I do not want to have to, if I ever come back here, it's the way kind of I try to work, is if I ever have to return, chances are I might have to. Who knows? I didn't have the proper seal for the box, the oil breather box, so I just put a little ATP 205 on the old seal and put it back on. If you don't know what ATP 205 is, it's an amazing rubber rejuvenator. I recommend everyone add a tiny bit to their engine oil when they're changing their oil, because it rejuvenates seals, especially if you live in a hot climate where you know, seals dry out. Seals dry out anyway from the heating and cooling cycle. Anyway, that's not even the point. Let's continue with this. So I cleaned this box as best as I could. It was the dirtiest, filthiest thing I've caked on that I've seen. I cleaned this knock sensor over here while I was at it. I cleaned all the connections. I checked that the EGR holds vacuum. What you do is you suck, you put another tube on this thing and you suck, and this valve opens. And then you keep the suction on it. If the valve stays open and doesn't leak, the EGR valve is fine. So this EGR valve is fine. I plugged it in, I threaded the hose up above. It was below this thing before, which I didn't like. So it's reattached. Now I am basically trying to reassemble everything that I can. You know, I'm racing against the clock because this seal is broken. I'm racing against the clock basically because once I lose daylight, it becomes a lot harder to work. And it's already like 3 o'clock here. Pretty cloudy day here in Houston, but that's okay. It's like 65, 68 degrees, which is perfect working temperature. You don't get too hot. I'm basically trying to clean all the connections as I go in and I come out. I don't want a dirty connection to mess something up for me. So essentially, I'm just going through. These are pretty dirty. These are the injectors, but whatever. One thing at a time. And I'm racing because I want to be able to put everything together before dark. And I know there's a lot to do with this intake manifold. It's got to go back on. I have to thread all the hoses and the things on, and then after you attach the EGR, for which I have a gasket maker because I don't have the right gasket. This one crumbled as I took off the EGR, probably due to such high temperatures. Finally the EGR came off, and it's thanks to liquid wrench and a 22 millimeter actual wrench. So you need a 22 millimeter if you're gonna get that. That's what this nut primarily is, the one you need to get off right here. This one, you need to get that off. After you get that off, it's fine. Then you can pull this thing back. You take this, and with the leverage, you just yank it back. It'll bend the metal leg. There's two legs, one over here, one over there. It's really dumb because until you pull this back, you can't get access to the breather box. It's ridiculous because when you're putting this back together, you're gonna have to make sure both legs are bent back. So you actually gonna have to put this on the ground like this and push the legs so they're even again. It's ridiculous. And then when you put this back in here, it'll block the bolt again. So what you do is you pull it, you swing this EGR back, the tail back like this. You don't attach that thing first. You swing it back left like this. Put one bolt in, then swing it back in place this way, like that, straight, and put the other bolt in. And when you're taking it apart, this needs to come off first. Then that bolt, then you swing this tail over here towards you, and you get that last bolt. That's the only way to do it. And you live and you learn. So I hope this video helps me remember in the future and helps you guys do this without having to put in, I don't know how many hours I did to try to get this out without breaking everything. Because that's the key, especially when working in an old car. Things are old, brittle, and if you manhandle them, you will break them. So that bolt, really hard to get off. Soak it in liquid wrench, and hopefully it's not rusted shut. And it together, we got the idler sensor connected. Yeah, little by little, I'm getting everything together. I'm actually a little more chill now because I no longer have an open engine. That was worrying me more than anything. I was afraid something would fall in, the weather would get in, rain, especially with this hood. And so little by little, I am putting things together, and it's a slow process. So we're gonna keep going. Hey y'all, so I got it all back together finally after I sort of struggled with EGR for a while. It was smooth sailing after that. Sorry I didn't do a first start, but I didn't know if it was gonna start. So after reconditioning this battery, and because it was a no-start when I got it, and messing with the whole system, EGR, finally getting it all back together. You can hear it runs pretty smooth. There was some smoke coming out when I first started this car, and now I think the smoke issue has been primarily solved. I don't see anything. It looks pretty clear. Alright, thanks for watching. And this looks like an update, so like and subscribe if you liked it.